Alistair is a creative historian who, after having found the time machine, was ready to travel through time and bring his life returning changed. His world literally turned upside down. He'd been studying the Victorian era for months, collecting relics and notes. But one experiment that failed, and Alistair was dragged back to a time that he never wanted to go. Victorian England. Worse still, he no longer owned his body. Alistair, now Isabella, was in the parlor of a strange house, looking at the image of a woman who replaced him. The machine had not only rewrote the past, but had also rewrote him as a new person. His wide shoulders of a former man and the firm chin, which used to be, had become tender arcs. His arms were changed into graceful ones. The short, shaggy hair on his head had grown into long, smooth, silky hair that reached his hips. He almost did not know who was staring back at him from the mirror. Fair complexion, red lips, and big, beautiful brown eyes. Each and every aspect of her seemed to be overtly feminine. At first, panic set in, and how could he possibly go through life as Isabella? Victorian society was rigid, a world into which women were supposed to be passive and obedient and stay at home. There were rules for everything, for walking, for speaking, and most importantly, for being a lady. Such clear roles frightened Alistair, because he always strove against the norms of the society in his previous life. Isabella's first few days are best described as uncomfortable and bewildered. She felt the new fabrics on her, the silks and the corsets. They were strange to her and, more importantly, restrictive. Her once husky and bass voice was now a high-pitched, squeaky voice. Wearing high heels was like trying to walk on a thin line. Each time she looked in the mirror, she was shocked to see the face of a lady in a man's arena she didn't fit. But Isabella soon got to know the rules. She had to become graceful regardless of anything else that was happening to her. As any lady in the Victorian period, she had to learn how to curtsy, how to speak in a gentle voice, and how to sit and stand. Gradually, she navigated, not through the submissive path of a woman, but towards dominating the path set by society for a woman. However, the hard times were gradually making Isabella understand the power from her new form and identity. Where once her mind was a male preserve, she was now appreciated for her brain, her perception, her style. What she didn't know was that she had never had this much power over the story of her own life. Despite the fancy dress that was a part of Victorian female appearance, Isabella realized finally that female shall not be skin deep. It is the ability to go through a rough period to adjust to the conditions and change under which she was living. She learned, on one evening looking out the window of her Victorian house, that maybe the abrupt arrival of womanhood had not been a punishment, but a gift, and a very precious gift, which would change not only her past, but also her future. Isabella was more than just a woman in this time. She was a force. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe.